Hey guys, welcome to Expand to the Cloud Brokerage. I'm really excited for our guest speaker today, Chris Bear from Vice President of eXp of US. I got David Upchurch right here with his nice red shirt with David Upchurch from eXp, as you know him. We've been doing a lot of these podcasts. So, I want to start off first of all saying, hey guys, be safe. We're in New York. Keep your distance. Be safe and sound. But we really want to provide you some valuable information so that way you could take that and be ahead of the game, especially with all the agents that are out there. So, we want to bring Chris on today to really share his story, what we are doing at eXp and how we are helping agents out, not just our agents, all the other agents that are out there too as well. So this is a time to kind of collaborate and stick together with these hard times that are coming forward. So, Chris, welcome, man. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, so right now, tell us your story. What's your background? How you got into eXp? How you kind of, went to the VP position too as well, and then we kind of take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was introduced to eXp from my mentor and coach while I owned my own independent brokerage. And really had no plans of leaving my own company, right? I really liked who I worked for, and because it was me, and and things were good. I built that company. I had a partner at the time from 0 to top 30 out of 500 brokerages within 3 years. So we were pushing numbers. But a friend of mine said, "You got to check out this little company." And at the time, there was like 3,000 agents at eXp. And he goes, "I really think this is where real estate's going." And I still today remember watching that video for the first time. And it was probably the worst eXp explained video ever, right? It was just one of those recorded real quick, very monotone. And but the information was so powerful. I just couldn't sleep after watching it. And I did know it was time in this industry for things to change, right? I already saw that. I just didn't know how fast it was going to take place. And for about 4.5 months, I hit my head. And David, I know you came from an independent as well, owning your own, you hit your head like, what am I doing? And trying to poke every hole I could in it. But I couldn't. And really, I was trying to poke the holes in it of why it wouldn't be a good fit for my agents. It wasn't really for me. Like I knew for me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, hands down, I knew getting outside of the 20 miles of my front door, having a massive expansion, not having the liability anymore, not having the headache of being the trainer, the accountant, the marketing. I mean, you're everything when you're an independent.
The copy repair guy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And guys, there's really no such thing as a non-competing broker anymore. Those are weird, words you don't hear unless you're just independently wealthy somewhere else and you like to come in and lose money. But I still had to sell, 20 to 25 million a year personally myself, to be able to live the lifestyle that I wanted to live. Right. And so it wasn't like I was just sitting there, waiting to support the agents every day. I was actively in sales. And it gets hard. And the people that sacrifice the most when you're going through that is your family, and I'm not proud of it, but, I've missed birthdays. I've missed my kids' Christmas morning. And I look back now when they were a young age and I don't have many memories. And it's sad because, one thing that I've really learned as I, mature in life is no matter how much money you make, you can't go back and buy time.
Yep.
So after really trying to pick it apart, man, I couldn't. Every aspect of it for my agents, it was a win. It was a win for them. And I've got a story. We have time here in a little bit. I can tell you how it really impacted one of my agents' lives. I'll try not to cry when I tell the story, but it's powerful. And so we made the decision to transition over. My good friend at the time, this is very, very important, respected him. We did national speaking together. I mean, just phenomenal in the industry. One of the top individuals, he told me I was making the biggest mistake of my life. I'll never forget. He said, "Don't do it." He goes, "Within a year, the company will be bankrupt."
I was saying that to David.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. He told me. Yeah. And I remember you guys' story. And my wife was actually the one that talked sense into me. She's in real estate. She's absolutely phenomenal. And she sat me down and she had to get my mind right of what we were doing. And it was so simple. And all she had to do was put the perspective in my mind that we weren't doing anything different. We were still selling real estate. So her whole thing was, so what if it went bankrupt?
Yeah.
Then we just put our logo back on the sign, or we joined another company that's been trying to get us for years and years. So once, that risk analysis, right, got figured out in my mind, that what was I really risking? The only risk that I was risking doing this was me being, more successful beyond than I ever thought I could be. And sometimes people have a hard time comprehending that.
Yeah. And
so we dove in, and this is the exciting news about this, guys. That same individual, of course, I'm dear friends with him, never stopped in contact. Him and his team joined my group a year ago. The same person that told me, don't do this. Wow. And it's absolutely phenomenal, to have that testimony. And I would just challenge anybody, even outside of this decision, if you're looking at eXp decisions in your life, don't base your life off of one person's opinion. We all come from different places. We all have different perspectives, right? Just make sure that you're doing what you feel is right and you have to do. And that's what my wife and I, we had to come to that place that we had to trust ourselves. And we knew what we were saying. So, yeah, love it.
You said something really important, that you did it for the agents. And I think that when we were sitting back, and I know that David was telling me in his story, Rummy, I'm going to be all right. I want to be perfectly fine, but not my agents. And that kind of opened my brain up too as well. Like, okay, I'll be all right as a broker, because I was independent too as well. I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to be, even through these times, I'll be okay. But right now, my agents are better off with eXp Realty. I just got a text this morning. Oh, well, Rummy, look, I capped. I got extra stock. I got extra this. Those are important things, and I think a lot of the brokers don't talk about, because especially in this time right now, it's not about us. It's about everybody else that is out there. And that is so important. And I think that every agent needs to kind of reevaluate who's thinking about who, right? And every broker needs to think about their agents. We had a conversation with another eXp agent recently, and with an exit agent, and their agent and them team are going to do better with eXp. They're going to do better. They're going to make more money with eXp. Yes. And we did the Excel for them. Like, we broke it down. And now it's up to the leader to lead, right? It's up to the leader to lead. So I know David has a story about that too as well. When he was sitting back, we spoke about that so many times, that, Rummy, it's not about me. It's really about the agents.
Yeah, it was definitely for my wife and I, when we were making this decision, it was for the agents, and actually, for our kids too. This gave us more time back with our kids, with the family, and what we're building now is something that's generational for them as well. I don't know if you guys have read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. He's the founder of Success Magazine. And that book changed my life. And I'm so glad I read that book, because if I didn't read that book, I might not be here right now. I read that book before eXp was introduced to me, like right before. I was on a cruise with the family, and my wife actually got mad at me on the cruise because I couldn't put the book down. And I'm not a book reader. I listen to books. But I brought this one to read, and I couldn't put it down. She's like, "Are you going to do anything with us?" We'd be by the pool. I'd just be reading the book. I couldn't stop. And I'm not a fast reader, okay? So it took like the whole cruise for me to read the book. But it literally changed my life, and what he, really said in the book is, it's so much better to have 100 people doing 1% of the work than you doing 100%, because if you're taken out of the game, everything's done. It stops. Where if you have 100 people doing 1% and 10 get taken out of the game, you still have 90% of the work being accomplished each day. And that's what eXp was for me. If something happened to myself or my wife during that, what was going to happen to the brokerage? Who was running it? Who was showing up? Which means we would have lost all of our income coming in. At eXp, we have that security that we have over 600 full-time support staff that's handling everything. We're here to be mentors, to motivate, to help and coach, and really do the things that we love doing, which is impacting people's lives. But I don't have to worry about this check being cut anymore. And I don't have to worry about the compliance over here, or what if an agent says this and I'm going to get sued. And it really took a lot of stress off of us, and really let us wake up every day with just a new mindset and a new attitude towards life.
I know when I called Rummy, I had been independent about 2.5 years at that point. And it was just one of those things where I always knew that I'm the sole provider of the family. I'm the one that goes up. My wife wasn't working by design. And I was like, if I get hit by a truck tomorrow, this is all gone, right? This is all gone. Their future is gone. Their financial future is gone. But not only is my family, my wife and children, but my admin staff, my agents, the people that help me build my independent brokerage, it's gone for them too. Because, I always joked and said my wife was not going to spend the money on marketing that I spent. She just wasn't going to do it. So eventually that brokerage was going to die a very slow death at some point. And or if nothing ever happened to me and my agents just kept chugging along, eventually my agents are going to want to stop selling real estate. That nobody wants, listen to me, nobody tells me they want to sell real estate when they're 80. Just don't, no one has ever said that. No one even says they want to sell it when they're 70.
Yeah.
But guess what? Unless you're doing something about it today, you're going to be selling real estate when you're 70. Because the moment your last closing closes, you're unemployed and you get zero income coming in unless you've done something about it.
Yeah.
And even then, my agents, the people that help me build my company and get where I am, well, what happens when they want to stop selling real estate? I mean, I've got a couple of my agents that are a little bit older than me. And what happens in 10 or 15 years when they want to stop selling real estate? Because they worked for me as an independent, they're done. They have zero income coming in. But with eXp, they have the opportunity. I always say I brought them to the same table that I'm sitting at. They're now at the same table as ownership. Now, whether they do something with it is up to them. But I brought them to the table. And I've got some that are taking advantage of it, and I've got some that are not, and that's okay. Yeah. But at least they're at the table. They're at the big Thanksgiving adult table, not the kiddie table.
That's what's cool though about eXp, right? Is there's so many different sources of income, right?
Yes.
Different streams of income, and the agent has always been the value proposition of a brokerage. It has. The agent always has. It's just they've never been treated as the value proposition. But when you look at a brokerage, the broker's worth what they're worth because of the sales the agents are doing. Yeah. But if the agent stopped selling, the brokerage wouldn't be worth anything. But if the broker sells it,
yes.
What do the agents get ever in return? Typically, it's nothing.
Nothing. It is nothing. And I have literally heard a broker say to me in a big mastermind group one time. A bunch of independent brokers said to me, agents are interchangeable parts. And I could not believe he said that. He knew it was a business to him. And when they left, he just put another one in. When that person left, he just put another one in. They were machine parts to him. And I couldn't completely disagree any more than him. These people were my family.
Yep.
These people helped me build what I had. I couldn't have the luxuries that I had without them. I don't see them as interchangeable parts. So I wanted to do something for them. And I couldn't believe that and listen, it wasn't just, he said it and there was a few that agreed with it. And I immediately realized I was in the wrong room. Because I'm like, these guys are not, they're just business owners. That's it. They could care less about who's helping them get to where they want.
And I think you hit it on the head there, David, and why we're revolutionizing the real estate industry in the way that we are. And if you saw the Real Trends reports, we're number one independent for the entire U.S. now. Yep. And we've done that pretty quick, right?
Very, very fast.
The industry's never seen anything like this. But I think the main component is because Glenn Sanford built this company for the agent.
Yes.
And that changes everything.
He saw value in the agent. He knew that the agent was the focal point.
Yeah. Yep. And he's seen it at a time where, in 2008 and 2009, he said, hey, listen, this is not, this brick and mortar is not going to last. And I love that because I have a brick and mortar right now, but I could close up and work from home. I mean, right now we are forced to work from home. My brother, who's in the internet side or building websites and everything, he is being forced to be virtual, period. He is being forced to be virtual. So listen, if you like it or not, you're being forced to be virtual. teachers are being forced to be virtual. So it is being, to me, it was just like, wow, this is, when I was speaking to a lot of other agents that are out there, and actually, let me go back. When I was speaking to my agents, when I told them about the company, they're like, wow, Rummy, let's just do it. You know, there was 15, I took 10 led to almost 85. And now we are thriving. You know, I think, David, what you said before was, hey, listen, your last deal is that's all that's out there. And how true is that right now? I mean, even though we brought everybody to the same platform for all the agents, if they take advantage of it, great, good for them and their family and the generations to come. But right now, we're sitting back, and anybody that does a transaction, and let me tell you, New York is completely shut down. Like, we can't even go out, do anything at all. New York City, as you know, is the biggest, transaction that ever happens that are out there. Everybody's shut down. But guess what? I have agents in different states. I have agents that still have a lot of deals in the pipeline. I'm going to be okay. And this is where I think that brokerages, agents out there really need to start thinking about not just one source of income, many revenue stream of income too as well. So which is really important. And I appreciate that you guys, and it's amazing that we just kind of talking about the same thing, that it's about the agents. It's not about us as a broker as well. It is about the agents. And every single day I'm like, guys, get up. I have my motivation with them. Hey, get up. You got to have the same routine. You can't fall back in this old routine right now just because you're home. And everybody appreciates that. And then we go to the world and we get trained every single day from the top agents that are out there. Leading into the question, Chris, I mean, what is eXp doing right now? And I know there's a lot of information that's out there. What is eXp doing to help not just our agents and agents that are outside the industry too as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. This is a time we all need to come together. There's power in numbers, right? And I truly believe that we will succeed through this by coming together. And it doesn't matter what your logo is, right? And that's really the message that we're delivering from eXp. We've been fortunate and blessed to have a leader that saw that the industry was changing, right? That saw that brick and mortar wasn't the stable foundation anymore, and knew that the virtual space is where we're heading. And this is all industries now, right? I mean, I just saw a report saying that we'll never be the same when we come out of this. Yeah. At-home workers are going to be spiked. I mean, companies are operating remotely now. It's
so let me tell you something real quick that goes into this virtual thing. So I'm going to say 6 months ago. So my daughter is 16 years old, and I've been with eXp for almost 2 years, right at 2 years. And she just saw the world, right? Our virtual office for the first time about 6 months ago. So this was before we were all forced to stay home. She was going to school every day, all that good stuff, going outside playing, all this good stuff, right? Going to volleyball tournaments. I showed her the world. I was in the world, and she's like, what is that? And I was explaining it to her. And she says to me, is this just for real estate? And I said, well, I mean, this world is, but there's other worlds. There's some, Stanford University. There's, and she goes, what about like insurance companies? So she's marketing companies. She starts talking about other industries that could use something like this. And this is what she said to me. She goes, I want to work for a company that I don't have to go to work.
I love it. Yeah.
And what dawned on me at the moment was she's 16. We're all in our 40s. This little virtual world thing is unique to us. It's weird. It's a little weird until you're in there, right? For her and all these early 20s, they're going to be 30s soon.
Yeah.
And they're going to expect virtual worlds.
Absolutely. I just want to clarify
virtual work environments.
David, it's not as weird to me because I'm not in my 40s yet. I'm close. You guys are in your 40s, so.
That was good. See that, Chris?
I'm already bringing you into our world, right?
You're already bringing me there.
It's one of those things that things are changing whether we like it or not.
They
right?
are. Yeah.
Whether we, my father-in-law, I mean, he texts me all the time now, but when I remember 5 years ago when I was teaching him how to text, when I got him his first iPhone, and it was odd and weird to him, right? But my 6-year-old niece, we've been FaceTiming her since she was born. Yeah. She doesn't want to talk on the phone anymore. She wants to FaceTime with us. It's her reality. And this whole virtual work environment, whether we like it or not, it's going to be huge. And now with this whole issue with the coronavirus and all of us being forced to work from home, companies are going to realize, wait a second, we can do this and not have brick and mortar.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know what, Dave, it's so funny you say that. I remember the first time my kids heard a home phone ring. It was at their grandparents' house, and we're sitting there. It's one of those old ringers, and they start running to take cover because they thought it was like an active shooter, bell going off at school. They had no idea what a home phone sounded like. And it's funny. It's changed. It's different, and we're only going to see it, that it's going to come at a speed now much faster than we were planning because of how we're forced to work and operate. But I can tell you guys here at eXp, what we've been able to focus on, and we're so blessed because of Glenn Sanford, guys. I mean, I give this guy so much credit, right? Because he knew he had to build something that was a solid foundation that could survive any downturn. Now, he didn't think that there would be a coronavirus, right? But what he did think is, how do I make something that can operate in any market? And that's what's being affected right now, really, right? Is our market. And because we are still 100% operational, we've been operating the same way for over a decade. We are built for this. We have not had to put any time, money, resources in trying to get up and operational now remotely or in a virtual platform. So what we've been able to do is put our time, money, and resources into training the agents, right? Into getting them through this time, making donations to our Extend a Hand program where we help agents that are facing difficult times right now, opening our world and our campus to every agent out there. Guys, do you know how many trainings we had last week in the world? This is going to blow your mind.
70 hours?
There was over 130 classes last week.
What?
Guys, I mean, this is what we're doing. As you know, we are ramping up saying, come in and learn, because we understand right now some markets might be closed down. Rummy, like you said, in New York City, right? But guess what? Your foundation can be being built stronger through this. And I assure anybody that's watching this, if you're uncertain right now of what the future looks like and you're scared, don't be. We're going to come out of this, okay? We've been in situations, maybe not the same with the social distancing, but we've been in worse, markets, I believe, than what we're going to see in this, okay? And we're going to get back to human contact. Business is going to be as normal again as seeing people showing homes. But this is the time I believe some giants will be created if they work on their foundations and they start ramping and preparing for what they need to do to run their business. One great series that we just launched, and anybody is welcome into our world. We just did a 60-day guest pass. So if you're watching this and you want in, get with Rummy or David Church here, or whoever's told you about eXp, ask them, say, hey, I want a guest pass. Give me 60 days. I want to come into these trainings. But we started a series called the Excel series. And the Excel series is directed towards the coronavirus, okay, and our market shift right now and changes, and it is taught by the top coaches and agents in the industries. I mean, I'm talking, just phenomenal, huge names, right, that have been through down markets multiple times. Like, this is nothing new for them. And if you're in real estate and you've been coached, you understand this. You hire a coach so when you go up the mountain, you don't step in all the rabbit holes, right? Because the coach has already stepped in all those rabbit holes 100 times. So they guide you and say, hey, walk over here. Come this way. Don't do that. Well, that's what these agents are doing for us during this time. There's a lot of rabbit holes that you could fall in right now. And some might take you out of the industry completely because you won't be able to get out of that hole if you get in it. Okay? What we need to do is be relying on the backs of the giants that have already been through this. We need to cling on to them, right? Like David Upchurch, I would cling on to your back, buddy, and say, get me through this. Like, walk me around everything. That's what we need to be doing with our agents. And that's what we're doing here at eXp.
And that's important because I'm going to contest to that. Yesterday, I called David up. I'm like, David, you and I better get on the gear over. He's like, why? Because, again, his market is a little bit different than my market. I'm like, I'm completely shut down. But I'm watching these trainings, and they're like, create content, get on Facebook, get out there and just provide content that is out there, be relevant in this marketplace. You know, I'm doing free CMA, virtual CMAs right now, but I heard on that. Somebody said, how do you take on listings? I said, oh, you know, I listened to the training. People are taking the listing in other markets by just having the owner take photography, do the virtual walkthrough, and doing all the paper on, you know, the DocuSign or SkySlope. And that's what we are starting to do. We just took on 2 more listings. I haven't met the sellers yet. We did everything on virtually. So right now, for me, it's like, I'm not going to sit around and hope that something's going to happen. I'm going to be out there and be in front of the game. And I can tell you that I have a couple of videos right now on RPR. There was a training, I forgot what the person's name, but he was training on how to take foreclosures, how to mail stuff up right from eXp. And it's all done. Okay, we can't even make cold calls, but we can mail something out.
Yeah.
So these are the trainings that are out there that is helping me. And that's what we want to provide, not just for, I think, eXp, anybody that's out there, and help you through this transition to get better at your game. And I think that, you know, eXp is doing an amazing job. I wouldn't be able to do this, guys. I mean, I know what I know. I'm in this, you know, I know what I know, but now we're reaching up, right? Like you said, these rabbit holes, you know, making sure that we don't fall into them. And people have went through it. I think yesterday, a couple of my agents, and they were taking, I think Tony Robinson was on too as well. I think it was Monday. And they were like, it's a great training. So think about that. We're bringing top coaches around the country to come on and teach you what the best practices is right now. And I think a lot of it has to do with education. Double down on education right now. That's really the most important thing. I'm doing it in the morning. I have another agent that's doing it in the afternoon. So double down, so that way when you come out of this, you're educated and you're way ahead of the game too as well. So which is really important. And again, guys, reach out to us. You know, we'll be able to give you that 60 days. I think it was 60 days, Chris, right?
60 days. Yep.
60 days. And there's no selling. There's nothing at all. All you have to do is just go take classes and making sure that, you know, you're way ahead of, and everything's absolutely free. Everything is absolutely free. So there's no coaches involved trying to sell you something, which is great.
And I want everybody to understand too, these trainings are fully live interactive trainings.
Yes. I raised my hand the other day in a class.
Yes,
and
you can raise
he's like,
your
hey,
hand.
David, you have a question? And I'm like, yes, I do. Could you go back a slide? What were you saying? Right? It's just weird.
I love it, but you've got to engage to understand it. So, you know, what's the worst case? Ask for a guest pass. You go in the world and you don't like it. Didn't cost you anything. But just imagine if you go in there and you get some content that you needed right now, and it absolutely changed your mindset of how you need to operate and run your business. You're going to thank yourself later for doing it. I don't know about you guys, but, you know, all coming from the independent world here, I just I count my blessings every day that I don't own that brokerage anymore, because I don't know what I would do through this turn right now. It would have bankrupted me. I mean, I'm looking at it and running numbers through my head of how it would have been. I would have survived. And I love how you said that, David. You'd be fine. I would have survived, right? I've sold 25 million a year. I can survive. Maybe my sales would have went down to 10 million a year, right? But I'm still okay.
Surviving.
But I know my agents wouldn't have. And my company wouldn't have. I would have said goodbye, because it's survival mode. And I just saw a report that said, you know, all independents, there's like 90% of independents don't have more than 3 months of reserves.
That is so true.
And that's what they're talking about, how this shift is going to change the real estate industry of how it operates. And we do have that coming. If anybody thinks it's not coming, you know, you're just not educating yourself enough. It's coming. So please, you know, prepare, have a game plan, understand what you're doing. I've told all my agents in my group, get 6 months of reserves. Here's resources. You know, look at your bank statement, whatever's on auto pay, stop it. You know, I mean, just done. You know, we want to support local businesses and try to order takeout food, but it also comes a point too, you got to ask yourself, can I cook at home to save some money during this time? So it's really, really important that we do take the precautions that we need. We've said it a couple of times on this call, guys, real estate agents are bankrupt every 30 days.
Yeah.
Our last deal is
you're only as good as your last closing.
Yep.
That's right.
That's the truth of real estate.
So what kind of, I mean, right now, I know that we have so many different, you know, we have, we talked about this before too, but I'll say it, right? I got stocks. I've been building stocks for the last what, 15, 16 months. I didn't have that in my own company.
Yeah.
And do you have that, right? I'm not a stock guy at all. I'm not even, I haven't even bought one. But
I didn't own any stock before I joined eXp.
Zero.
Yeah.
So, zero.
Hey, we sound like most real estate agents.
Yeah, right.
Zero stock, zero savings.
Zero stock. Zero rental properties.
Yeah.
So now we have that cushion. We have that revenue share cushion. And I know that we're offering so many other things, healthcare and other partnerships out there too as well, where, I wasn't able to do it by myself and my agents are able to do it. We have the same, I'm going to go back to what David said. We have the same, everybody's treated equal in here. Doesn't matter if you're the top agent, right? It doesn't matter if you're a brand new agent. Everybody treated equally in here. Is that how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to grow from this? So,
eXp is just a different animal, right? I mean, it's just a better way of doing what we already do. Listen, we still do, not now, but in the real world, in the normal world, we're still doing showings, we're still doing listing presentations, we're still providing value to our clients, we're still going to closings, we're still doing inspections, we're doing everything else we've ever done and hopefully we will always do. But we have this animal behind us called eXp that is virtual, that is helping us push our business forward. And it's a better tire, right? I mean, I just saw for the first time, I'm sure thing's been around for a while, but I just saw this because I've been unfortunately watching a lot of TV here lately, where they now have.
He's looking better today than yesterday, by the way, Chris.
Yeah, I hadn't shaved in like 2 weeks, but there was a tire. It was on this big tractor, and there was no air in the tire. So you couldn't puncture the tire. It was made out of this weird foam thing. I don't know, whatever, right? And I was like, okay, that's still a tire. It's still performing the exact same thing that the air tire does, except the air tire can get punctured, and then you have to replace it, and you got to take it off. You got to buy a new one. This one was rolling over beds of nails, and it was fine.
That. Yeah.
It's the same exact thing, but different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I thought that was great. That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, when I saw that, I'm like, that's eXp right there. It's the exact same thing. It's just a better tire.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, being on the growth side of eXp, I mean, we are not slowing down on growth at all. We've actually seen a ramp up of growth of agents.
No doubt.
And it's just because they need to operate still. They still need to operate. And unfortunately, a lot of companies, I would say probably 98%, were not prepared for anything like this to ever happen. They just weren't. So trying to get remote operations up and getting compliance of how you do accounting now remotely and all this, they're not easy tasks, right? It takes time, but agents can't wait. And I've been on calls with some mega agents in the nation that said, the doors are locked. I can't get in. I can't get a hold of anybody. I have this happening, and they don't know what to do. And we've been able to actually source them to our state brokers to help them get through just the transaction part where they can't get the help and support. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help. Anybody who's watching this, we are here to help you in any way. Like, again, we don't care what your logo is, okay?
That's a company I want to be affiliated with.
We are here to help you get through this time and to help your families. We understand this industry is a deal-to-deal industry and how important it is that every single deal you have right now can still get to the closing table.
Yes.
And our agents are accomplishing that. We are still closing deals, and it's amazing to see that.
Yeah. And we are all benefiting from it too as well, and not just one person in the company, because we're getting stronger and stronger per transaction that is happening. So we're at the wrap up. I mean, Chris, anything? And David, you want to say anything before we get out of here? And then I'm going to wrap. Let Chris say it too as well.
Yeah, no, just Chris. I mean, we appreciate everything that you're doing for us on the growth side of eXp, and you're a great resource for us. Even, I know I've reached out to you a few times when I needed some help, and you jumped right in, and I just want to let you know I genuinely appreciate it, and I love what eXp corporate is doing for all logos. I love it when you say that, right? Because I have said for years we're not on opposite teams. right? We're all in this together, more so now than ever. And when you say we don't care about the logo, that hits heart. It hits the heart with me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to leave out. Thank you, Chris, for being on today. I appreciate your time and
Absolutely.
And you're doing. And I want to contest to even our brokers and our state brokers in New York. Let me tell you, there are some. We had a meeting yesterday. You know, Matt's right here in New York City, and
Matt is amazing. I got to give a shout out to Matt. Love you, Matt. You're awesome. Kim, you're amazing. Jim, you're awesome. New York State is phenomenal. Yes.
Yeah, and we had like a 70 to 75 people in our meeting. And we're still functioning. We're still operating where everybody else is closed. And we want to open this up to any agent that, needs help, needs to get guidance right now, especially brand new agents. I know you guys are lost out there. I could tell, I could feel it, because if I started this career right now and I have agents who just joined and they're like, Rummy, I am blown away. I'm literally just blown away. They have so much content that they're like, okay, we're going to be shut down for 2 months. I'm going to absorb everything. So reach out to us. We'll help you out. You'll have Chris's information, David's information, my information too as well. And Chris, I'm going to let you leave the last word over here. Matt, thank you for being on again, once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I just kind of want to, give everyone some encouragement before we hang up on this call. The social distancing that we've noticed has really taken effect differently on people. Typically when there's a nationwide problem or issue that we're battling, we still come together, right? We still watch sports. We can still go out to dinner with friends. And it's that community of people together that usually, keeps our spirits up. Where I think I'm noticing this time, people are more getting into a state of depression, just watching the news, the negativity. I just want to tell everybody, make sure you have a close network of people that are positive through this. And I assure everybody on this call, we're going to come through this. And I believe we're going to be stronger than we were before as a nation, as individual, and as real estate agents. We're building a company that's better now, no matter what logo you're with. This is time for you to work on that, work on your business. And Rummy, thank you so much, and David Church, for putting this on. This is what you need to be tuning into, people. Positivity, right? Stay positive. And remember, this is going to be something that's short-lived. We're not going to be 10 years living like cave people, okay? We're going to come through this. Smile. David, I see your videos, your son playing guitar the other day and stuff, and I love it. Thanks for posting that. It keeps it exciting, and it's great to see people doing things with their family. So let's take time and focus on that.
Right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being on, guys. Tune to the next one. I appreciate everyone, and reach out to us. Be blessed. Be safe. Definitely be safe. And let's keep, especially in New York, guys. Again, if you need me personally to help you out, I'm here. Anything that we could do, I know David and Chris is there. Anything that we could do, once again, just reach out to us to help you with anything in our power. We will definitely do that. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Be advised that the topics and contents discussed in this podcast are opinions intended as general information based on personal accounts and experiences by the hosts Rummy Dhanoa, David Upchurch, and their guests. We recommend that listeners seek professional advice or research before making a business decision. This podcast is produced separately and independently from eXp Realty and is not sponsored or funded by eXp Realty.